protector. They got Claxton, but they need a real protector.
Right. I actually talked to Brooklyn. Like, I went to Brooklyn. They traded me from Charlotte. Went to Brooklyn. They told me that they didn't want to win at that time. So they felt like they should waive me because they didn't want to win. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. The team doesn't want to win.
Right.
So I get waived. I end up getting to the Lakers and winning. So this time around, I asked to come to Brooklyn. I talked to them. They say they need a big that can shoot. And I'm like, well, y'all just had a big that can shoot. So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand it. You know, I felt like that would have been a great pickup, a big that could protect the rim, play good pick and roll defense.
Rebound.
The pick and roll with KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. I felt like that would have been lethal with me in it because I know for sure KD and Kyrie are going to get the most wide open shots they could possibly ever get coming off a pick from me. So, I feel like that would have been good. I feel like my presence on defense is something that would have been necessary. And then, just the fact that I've been in the league for 18 years, going on 19.
Protector. They got Claxton, but they need a real protector.
Right. I actually talked to Brooklyn. Like, I went to Brooklyn. They traded me from Charlotte. Went to Brooklyn. They told me that they didn't want to win at that time. So they felt like they should waive me because they didn't want to win. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. The team doesn't want to win.
Right.
So I get waived. I end up getting to the Lakers and winning. So this time around, I asked to come to Brooklyn. I talked to them. They say they need a big that can shoot. And I'm like, well, y'all just had a big that can shoot. So it's like, I don't know. I don't understand it. I felt like that would have been a great pickup, a big that could protect the rim, play good pick and roll defense.
Rebound.
The pick and roll with KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. I felt like that would have been lethal with me in it because I know for sure KD and Kyrie are going to get the most wide open shots they could possibly ever get coming off a pick from me. So, I feel like that would have been good. I feel like my presence on defense is something that would have been necessary. And then, just the fact that I've been in the league for 18 years, going on 19.
It seems to be now.
Yep.
Once upon a time, I'm sure he's always had these beliefs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's always had these theories. Maybe they're more to the forefront. Maybe he's gone this, as they like the term they like to use, an awakening. Maybe he had an epiphany or he's gone through a metamorphosis or whatever the case, whatever term you want to use. At the end of the day, Kyrie is what he is. Now, don't get this man and say, well, I didn't know he might blow off this or he might say that, because you got history that says this is what he's capable of doing. Mm. And if you're okay with that, by any means, trade for it. If the Nets are willing to part ways with him, it seems that they're more willing now to part ways with him.
I agree.
Because they've given this decree now, Skip. It wasn't enough that he apologized. Now they're trying to I believe they're trying to rob the man of his dignity. They're trying to make him grovel to come and get his job back. And I don't agree with that. A man said he was sorry. Hey, I was wrong. Yeah, I would have liked to see him. Hey, I shared a link to my page. It was brought to my attention that I offended a group of people. And for that, I would like to say I'm sincerely sorry. That was not my intention. In the hope of trying to enlighten and educate my people, I was disrespectful, I was disparaging to another group of people. Could have said that, Skip, and maybe it wouldn't have gotten to this point. People would have been upset.
Yep.
But I think when you come out and you say, I'm sorry, I apologize, before you being forced to say I'm sorry or apologizing, people are more apt to say, okay, it's sincere. It wasn't until he was suspended, it wasn't until he had things taken away from him that all of a sudden he got it in him to say that I'm sorry. But Skip, Kyrie is what he is. So don't get this man and think you're going to get something that he's not.
No.
This is who he is.
Agreed. Which is why in the Athletic piece, they interviewed 11 team executives, and not one of them said, I would take Kyrie as is, as you say. Too many issues, and one GM is quoted as saying he's the opposite of a commodity now. Another says, I think Kyrie might not ever play again in the NBA. That one stopped me in my tracks. Seriously, there's not one team out there that say, well, yeah, we get it, but we see what he can still do because he's been doing it this year already, right?
I mean, the guy's he's a 7-time All-Star, Skip. He's a 23-point, 6 assists in 12 seasons. That's what he's done. And we know the shot that he hit. We know he can dazzle. Skip, he can go get 50 at the drop of a hat. He can make 30 and get 30 in an array of shots, and when he does, you're like, that's unbelievable.
Okay, so here's what we also know about him away from basketball. Steve Nash gets hired, and both Kevin and Kyrie get interviewed. I think they're on the same podcast. And Kyrie goes so far as to say, we don't even need a coach.
Yeah.
We can coach ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that's the issue going forward. Then he decides, I'm not going to get vaccinated, even if it tears my team apart and wrecks the season. And why won't you, Kyrie? I'm not going to tell you.
Right.
We don't know. I still don't know to this day exactly what his stance was on no vax. Then he starts to call himself an artist. I'm operating on a level above all of you. You don't get where I'm operating up here, both on and off the court.
Right.
To the point that I have things in my life that are much bigger than basketball.
Right.
Cool, great, go. But don't take our now $37 million to be who you want to be, right?
Right.
That was my whole issue with the link that he posted. You can tweet away. You can say whatever you can get away with a lot of things in this country except terrorist threats. But the point is, if you want to walk away from basketball and be some kind of a crusader or a groundbreaker or an original thinker, I'm all for that. But you can't do it representing the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA.
If somebody said, look, for me, I've never been, and I'm never going to be, and that's something my grandfather always say, boy, never be too big to say, I'm sorry. Be too prideful to say that. Skip, if I say something, and I've had this, and it happened before, and it's like, I'm sorry. I mean, because sometimes when you say I'm sorry, it's like, I'm acquiescing. You hurt a group of people, or if you hurt someone.
All right, but you're not going to say you're sorry if you're not sorry.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. And if you're not sorry, just don't say anything. Just keep it moving.
That's where we got. And finally, Kyrie, as he goes into the midlife of his basketball career, he has not been able to stay healthy, and he will not play hurt. He's not going to play through an injury like some of the old school players would.
Well, I think the thing was, Skip, it happened in Cleveland. He kind of was playing through that knee, and the knee finally went out in the NBA Finals, that overtime, Skip. And I think from that point on, it takes a special type of person, Skip, to play with a dean. Because you're not doing it anymore. You can't harm it any worse than what it is. But can I help it?
He fractured his kneecap.
Yeah. Can I help it?
It was bad.
It was. And so for me, Skip, look, like I said, he's a phenomenal talent. He's as good. And I love Kyrie the player. It's the other things that you have to embrace. Because if playing basketball was always about, Skip, every other team would line up to take him. But they know there's so much more that comes along with said player.
I was under the assumption that it was a done deal, that at least by next year, when he becomes free, that he's bound for L.A. and he wants to reunite with LeBron and make it right. I walked away too soon. I was too young. I was too immature. I didn't get it. The grass was not greener, so to speak, in Boston.
Right.
And let me have a do-over with LeBron. I thought it was a done deal that next year, as LeBron goes into year 21, it's just like the perfect way out here for the Lakers.
Right.
And now this story says it's quite clear that the Lakers are highly unlikely, if not impossible, as a landing spot.
Yeah.
If not impossible as a landing, you're kidding.
Well, they got a big population of the people that was offended by what he posted out here in L.A. And that's the thing, Skip. Look, and like you said, you can tweet or say whatever you want, but just understand the ramifications that comes along with that. And if you're okay with to handle that backlash, you just can't. And people that are in business and people that do certain things understand. You can't just willy-nilly say whatever I want. I'm free to this, I'm free to do that. If you do that administrator, you don't understand the work environment. You don't understand a situation that we're in. Because you just can't. You cannot.
Okay, you're free to do it as long as you don't represent the Brooklyn Nets and the National Basketball Association.
Yes. If you do your own thing, if you built up that type of cachet, that type of capital
Yeah.
that I can say and tweet and do whatever I want, and I don't care. I don't need anybody because I got enough money. I got enough. What's the color? Wealth.
Yeah.
Financial freedom. You got financial
Yeah.
freedom, or you got that. Okay, fine, do that. But there are not very many people that can willy-nilly just say and do what they want, and not be able to, like, the ramification would be crippling.
I have been the biggest Kyrie fan, but I got to tell you, if I were a GM